Watch. Ready? Look. Pause. 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 All right. Close enough. All right, here we go. So, Derek, how do I write this equation?
X plus 8 squared
Good.
plus y minus 9 squared equals 16.
Perfect. Who got it right? Raise your hand. Well, you gotta get moving. Okay. There's one other problem. Give me a second. I'm getting into your homework that I saw that's going to give you kind of fits, but not too many. Let me find it. Give me just a second. What about if it gives you a diameter? How do you find the radius? Yeah, divide by 2. There it is. Okay. This problem right here says, I'm going to read it to you because this one's directly off your homework, and it says, give the equation of a circle centered at the origin. If it says something like centered at the origin, where's the center at? Yeah, so if it says centered at the origin, if there's something centered at the origin, the center is 0, 0. Okay? So anytime you hear centered at the origin, the center is 0, 0. And then it says, and passing through the point, negative 3, 0. And it wants an equation. Okay? So first off, we need to write the center part. So remember our formula here. No, it can have one of these will always be 0 because this tells us our radius. So what would our radius be? Does anyone know, just out of curiosity? It can't be a negative. So look right here. Yeah, just be, so if our center's at 0, 0, and it passes through the point negative 3, that means that our radius is 3. Because if the circle passes through this point, it has to be the exact same distance away or it's not a circle, right? So if our point's negative 3, 0, that means from 0, 0 to negative 3, 0 is 3. So that means all of them have to be 3. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, we'll do a couple of these just to show you. But here's the kicker. It says centered at the origin 0, 0. So when we plug this in, it becomes this. And I'm going to show you how you're going to simplify this. And our radius is 3 squared, right? Because we know our distance is going to, even though it's negative 3, radius can't be negative, so it's just going to be 3. How would we simplify that down? What does that become? Nope. Cool. Good idea. What do you guys think? This just becomes x squared. This just becomes y squared equals 9. And there's your equation. Like that. Because that squared would go to both of them, the squared 0 squared is 0, so it just leaves x squared. Okay, so listen to this one. It says it's centered at the origin, so it's centered at 0, 0, and it passes through the point 0, negative 6. Anytime it's centered at the origin, it's just x squared plus y squared equals, our radius is 6, so what number is right here? 36. And there's your equation. Because this thing would be simplified to be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 6 squared. So it becomes x squared plus y squared equals 36. Does that make sense? Yeah. So once again, if it says it's centered at the origin, I want you guys to do this one on your own. And it's 0 and 4. I want it, and the circle passes through points 0 and 4. I want everyone to come up with that.
Is centered at 0?
Centered at the origin. And the circle goes through the point 0, 4. Okay. So, Juliana, what's my equation? Equals? Perfect. Does everyone understand where the 16 comes from? If the radius is 4, 4 squared is 16. Okay? Alright, I'm going to do one more. I don't want, actually, yes I do. I want this problem written down. You will not have one of these on your homework because I just am not that mean. But we're going to do it anyways. I want it written down, though. Or I will give you one on your homework. We're going to learn, so the problem says, which is, this is why I'm having you write one down, because I believe it or not, I've actually seen this on an ACT test before. It says the equation of a circle is given below. Identify the radius and the center. And then graph the circle. So what it says is x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 8y plus 9 equals 0. I'm going to ask you guys to help me a little bit. Just a little bit. And I understand this is something, believe it or not, this is something that's actually pretty tough. Okay. First step is I'm going to get the x's together, the y's together, and I'm going to move this over to here. Because in order to get this into the form I want, you have to have the x's together, the y's together, and then I move that 9 over to there by subtracting to both sides. Okay? So remember, our goal, just pause for a second, our goal is to get it into this form. Right? That's our goal. If we can get it into this form, we can see the center and the radius. So our next step is we're going to group x's and y's. Okay, we're going to ignore the y's. We're just going to focus on the x's right now. So you guys remember all the way back to chapter 2. We're going to see who can remember this. We learned a thing called completing the square. And we're drawing all the way back to chapter 2. Completing the square says we're going to take 1/2 of b and we're going to square it. So what's 1/2 of 6? 3. What's 3 squared?
9.
That number we're going to add to both sides. So we're going to also have over here equals -9 plus 9. So we're going to add that 9 to both sides. Then we're going to do the exact same thing to the y's. Yeah, so we're going to take 1/2 of 8, which is 4, squared, as Juliana said, is 16. So we're going to have y squared plus 8y plus 16, and then we're also going to have that over there. Because what you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other, right? Close, not FOIL. What's the other name? Factor. Okay, so this is actually a perfect square trinomial. Is x squared a perfect square? What is it? X. What's 9's perfect square? You bring down the sign between the x squared and the x, and you square it. X squared minus 6x plus 9 factored is x minus 3 squared. Plus, is y squared perfect? What is it? Y plus 4 squared. 16 is perfect. It's 4.
What if it's not perfect?
It will be. 100%. If it's not, you did something wrong in this step. Equals 16. Look what form it's in. What's the center? 3 negative 4. What's the radius?
No, 4.
Yep. Square root of that number over there, which is 4. So I'm going to be honest with you. If you want me to, I can write down individual steps for you. But hopefully everyone has this. I'm not going to have you do homework on this, but listen, I'm going to put one of these on the test, but it's only going to count for extra credit. So if you happen to get one of these, I'll bump it from like 100 to 110 on the if you got 100 or whatever it is, or I'll bump your score 10 points if you get this one right. Okay? Like in my honors class, we did an entire assignment where all we did was these. This is called completing the square and creating the equation of a circle. So, I'm going to get your assignment there. It's going to be 12 problems. Hey, guess what? We have one more section to cover in chapter 11. We're going to talk about the volume and the surface area of spheres. And then we're done with chapter 11. We'll test it probably Tuesday.